Welcome to another unit in this Excel course. This time I'm going to talk about the different filter options we have when we work with pivot tables. Here you already see I prepared a pivot table where as rows I have the names of different participants and as columns I have something I call a grouping, so which group they belong to. Well, when I have this and I want to filter, I can start first with the names, so basically with a text variable. If I take a look here, this offers me value filters and label filters. Well, value filters in this context are not really so helpful because I have the problem that, what should I do with greater than, lesser than, between something or top 10 something? So that's a bit of a problem. But label filters do make sense. Could also go with equal, does not equal, but I can also go with begins with, ends with, does not contain, contains, stuff like this. So whenever I try to actually analyze here something with text inputs, should go with the label filters. For example, here, if I only want to have those ones where the name starts with an M, I could go begins with M. Then I see that's the 3 people whose name starts with an M. And I directly see that I have an active filter with regards to the rows. So if this symbol here is active at this part, it's an active row filter. If I were to have the same thing here, I would have an active column filter. So let's turn off this filter again. So I could just go here, click on this, and then clear filter from name. If I do this, I once more get all of my observations. Well, here with the groupings, I have numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. So basically here I have a number variable. If I want to do something here, again, I have like labels and values. Here the value filters make more sense. So here again, equal, not equal, greater than, lesser than, between something, or the top 10, bottom 10. That's what I can do in this context. So here, for example, if I only want to have those where the group is greater than 2, greater than, as we see here, means greater or equal to. So that's 2, 3, and 4. And as I said, this symbol here shows that the filter now is active for columns. So similar to the rows, I can go back in here and then click on clear filter to get all of this once more. Okay, this was for text input, for number input. But I also have here 2 variables where I have first off application dates and duration times. So let's have a look how this looks like if I do not consider the groupings as columns, but for example the application date. Where the first thing we see, he splits this up into 2 parts. Years, quarters. And if I go here, I can see that's the years. If I open one of them, I get the different quarters. And in the quarters, I get the different month. So he makes it a bit easier to analyze this as well. But still, if I go to column labels, here I see his way of summarizing all of this, but I could still do a bit more regarding filters, and that's what the date filters are for. So here I have explicitly something like equals, before, after, between, so I can do the greater than, smaller than, but only with dates. I have something even more specific like tomorrow, today, next week, last week, next month, last quarter, stuff like this, or that I set a specific period. And that's the interesting thing, the same which I do not see here, but with date filter, I could build my own filter if I like. With equals to, does not equal, is after. So I can build different combined filters for my, here as you see it, date filter. So this was with regards to the dates. So I can just clear them. At this point, he had split this up, so I have to clear all of this. And I can input duration time. Duration time, that was a time variable. So if I put this here, you see he splits this up into hours and minutes. So for example, here I have hours is 1, minutes is 30, then I have seconds is 53. So I could also select them based on those informations, but here again I can only use date filters. So I have to go with the equal, before, after, stuff like this, because tomorrow, today, next week, stuff like this doesn't make sense if I only have some kind of time information. That's the problem, because what he does, even though he reports this here as minutes, hours, stuff like this, it's simply years or dates. That's an integer for him. The part after the decimal point, that's the corresponding time. So basically he just says, well, this is more or less like a number to me. Doesn't matter if it's a time or a date, and I only allow you to analyze the number in full. So it doesn't matter if you have date or times. For me, it's both the same. That's the problem with this. So here you can only go with the more simpler date analytical functions. But still, this also allows you to do special selections for specific times. And as you see here, you could even select this then by your own, or if you go here, again, select the stuff down here for your own part. Well, that's then basically all the most common field types you might analyze here. All the different, let's call this filter types you might come across. So we have value filters, label filters, value filters, mostly relevant for number data, or as we see here, can also be applied to date and time data, because basically this is number data, numerical data. We have label filters, that's particularly useful for text input. And we have specific date filters, that's usable, usable for date and time information. Yeah, and this then concludes this unit on using specific types of filters in the context of a pivot table. So I hope you enjoyed listening to it. And if you're looking for additional input, either on pivot tables or on Excel in general, feel free to visit the rest of this course or have a look at the corresponding playlist. I say goodbye and see you next time.